you already introduced me. I'm the president of the National Youth Council of Macedonia. So I'll start by saying that migration has been happening for a long time now and will continue to happen, of course. But brain drain specifically is a phenomenon that has been discussed a lot lately in our region. And although the youth organizations are conducting surveys and pointing out already over the years that young people want to leave the country, the census that we had recently in North Macedonia, last year actually, is just proving this, that young people are leaving the country every day more and more. But as many things in life, I would say when looked through from different perspectives, they gave different effects, of course. So if we look from an individual viewpoint, migration has also positive effects because it's always striving for something better. Young people or anyone that leave, that migrate to another country, they do it because they want a better salary, a better education, better life standards, etc. If we look at it from a global viewpoint, migration processes can also be positive, especially because they help to properly allocate human capital and with that general wealth and efficiency rise. So that's contributing to a global growth, which is also a positive thing. But on the other hand, if we look at it from local and national viewpoint, the migration of qualified and highly qualified people, or in other words, the brain drain, is a loss to the community. So brain drain, or more specifically, the migration of young people, is widely recognized as an urgent challenge in North Macedonia, the country where I come from, but also in the whole Western Balkan region. We continue to lose every day a significant portion of future leaders, of professionals, of future entrepreneurs, and many other professions. All the data that we have about brain drain is collected by the civil society sector. I have to point out that there is not a complete analysis of the impact of the migration. There is lack of reliable and detailed data. For example, the exact number of people that are leaving, the length of their stay abroad, their gender, age, or any other characteristic, their level of education, the exact motives of why they are leaving. So these data are missing and there are no solid administrative sources for this. This shows that the governments in the region are not paying enough attention to this phenomenon that is emptying the countries in the region, in the Balkans. So not only they're not using the administrative resources to find out the exact data and that's the roots of this problem, they are not also listening to the recommendations that have been given from the civil society sector throughout the years, and of course not acting upon it. North Macedonia, as I already mentioned, finally had a census after 20 years. The data was collected last September and the results were shown last month. So I can share some key findings from this, although not very positive though. They just prove that what has been told by the researchers conducted in all those previous years. So if I compare the results from the census done in 2002 and the one done last year, so which is almost 20 years distance, I can share that we have around 185,000 inhabitants fewer. So people are leaving the country, and that's a fact. On one hand, we do have more people that are elder people above 80 years old. In fact, those are almost 140,000 more compared to 2002. But when it comes to youth, which are considered to be on the age from 15 to 29 years old, the number has been decreased by around 154,000. Additionally, there are around 100,000 people that were young in 2002, and now those people would be around between 35 and 49 years old, but they left the country. It means that around 20% of the people that were young in the category of youth in 2002 have already left the country. So it's a fact that Macedonian population is becoming old, because in 2002, young people made up 23.8 of the total population. And now, as a result of the brain drain, this number is decreased to 17.8%. Young people compared to the total population nowadays. And if we see the definition by for old countries by Eurostat, we can see that definitely Macedonia is becoming an old country, because the definition is that those countries with less than 4 residents who are able to work, meaning from 15 to 64 years old, per one person in retirement, which is more than 65 years old, those countries are old countries. And we have less than 4. It's 3.84, I believe now. So it's less than 4, which means that we are becoming indeed an old country. But let's talk about the reasons why young people are leaving the country. As I said, all the research has been done by the civil society sector. So I will just mention some. I'll start with one that was done through the National Youth Council, and I have been personally involved in this research. It was done together with Nevanti Group for USA in 2019. It's called Cross-Sectoral Assessment in North Macedonia. I was conducting different focus groups, and the question was why young people are leaving the country. So I can just read briefly a summary that shows some of the reasons why young people are leaving the country, and then later on I will elaborate furthermore on some of them. So it says, youth are acutely aware that the country has an outdated education system, as well as high rates of unemployment and underemployment. Deep-rooted patterns of corruption and state capture undermine young people's confidence in their government and their willingness and interest to participate in shaping the future of the country. Young people tend to live at home even into their late 20s, and with limited physical spaces to engage socially. Spend an average of 6 hours a day on social media. All of these factors appear to contribute to low-grade feelings of exclusion and depression, which are more significant for groups that have been traditionally marginalized: Roma, young people living with disability, and LGBT youth. So I'll try, as I said, to explore further some of these reasons. And I would say that the first reason why young people are leaving the countries would be economic motives. The mentioned research, shows that lack of well-paying jobs was the most often cited reason for youth out-migration. Youth is among the most vulnerable groups in our society when it comes to employment. The average regional youth unemployment rate is 35%, and Macedonia is not much different from the regional average rate. Although it's starting to be reduced, but still in the second quarter of last year, in 2021, youth unemployment in Macedonia was 28.3%. Besides this, many young